You're right there, guys. Well, today I'm going to be building some Christmas gifts and stuff. I'm actually going to be doing some quite big. I'm going to be building my brother a desk. So it's going to be a scaffolding board desk with a set of drawers on it. So let's get into that. By the way, it's getting there. Don't worry. Just ignore this until it's done and you'll see a video on it eventually. At the moment, the logo's on the wall. I don't like the writing. Got to redo that. So yeah, it's getting done bit by bit. So my workshop can only just about fit these 13 feet long scaffolding boards in. But I'm going to be cutting it out. So I've drawn a line here. It's going to be 130 centimeters long. So I've got to get quite creative with the way I'm sorting out these camera angles at the moment. But I've got this set up. I'm going to cut off this end because it's got a crack in it. I'm going to measure out 130 centimeters and then cut as many of these as I can out of this piece of wood. So that's all of the boards cut for the desktop. I'm going to then biscuit these together and glue them together. And then it's going to have to be ripped down. I might joint the boards before gluing them together. I think that'd be a good idea. I'm now going to cut the sides for the drawers because I've got wood everywhere and it's doing my head in. This is sort of the idea. It'll be like the top with side for drawers, little feet that I'm going to have to work out, some drawers, and then like a leg piece, which I think I'll just do this out of like 3x2 or something. I'll come to that later. So my next job is to cut down the side pieces, just so I can stack them up out of the way. I've jointed the boards up as tight as I can get them, really. I'm now going to do some biscuits, and this will be the first time I've ever used biscuits. So we're going to see how this goes. I bought this Biscuit Jointer off of Facebook. It was only a couple of quid, really. I've never really used it. I played about with it, but I don't really know what I'm doing with it. So we're going to try it out. I've drawn a couple of lines where I want to make a hole. No, that doesn't work. Oh, there we go. Fucking hell. So what I've done is I've planed down a bit this thickness just to make it a bit lighter because it was getting very, very heavy. I've now got the sides of the drawers. They're not cut to size yet, although they're quite close. I'm going to biscuit joint these and then glue them all together. So that's my next job. So I've been playing around with a couple of feet ideas, what might look better. I like this sort of design. So what I've tried here is a butt joint, but I don't like the idea of that, you know, sticking out on the edge. So what I did was I mitered it and tried this one. This was only a rough one that I've tried out. So this is the one that I'm going to go for. We're going to make these up, sand them down, and then paint them black. The panels are still gluing up, and then I need to think about building the leg on the other side. So I've got the drawers, the top, the feet are now being built, and then I just need that leg. I might have some wood for that. If not, I'll have to go out and get some. So I'm going to cut the desk down to size. I'll also cut the sides of the drawers down to size. And then it's lots and lots of sanding. So I've quickly cut out the wood for the legs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pin it with a couple of screws. And then I'm going to measure for the X that I want to put in the middle. Then I need to cut out the middle of the X so it slots together nicely. And then glue and screw it all together. So we're going to do that now. So now I've got this in, I'm just going to measure to make sure it's square. So 92.6. So I cut this without thinking too much, and it's not a 45-degree angle, of course. So now I've got to work out what the angle is. Well, after a lot of choice words and banging with a hammer, I've managed to get two pieces that fit. Now it's not perfect, but they're in there, and it is still square. So I'm happy with that. So all I need to do now is just cut out a groove on both of these. That was a bloody nightmare. I knew this bevel gauge would come in handy one day. I probably glazed over the legs a little bit because it was just a nightmare to do. But I have done a lap joint here. Literally just boxed it all in. It took some time to try and work out what these angles were. They're not perfect, but they can be fixed later on. Still needs sanding down and everything. But I'm quite happy with that. So we're going to sand this down, paint them black. So I've sanded this down now. I filled in a few gaps that needed filling, and I've got some black gloss spray paint that I'm going to do on here. So I'm going to let that dry, and I'll flip it around and do the other side. After an eternity of sanding, this is all now sanded down to 240 grit. We're now going to try and assemble it. So that's the shell of the drawers done. I'm just waiting for the runners now, and when they come I'll make the drawers up for that. The legs now being painted, the top just needs a bit more sanding, and then I just need to finish everything. that's the outside of the drawers done. I ran out of dye, so the inside's, you know, patchy, but it's only the inside of it anyway. So that's looking good so far. So I'm not going to show you how I did the drawers, mainly because you don't want to learn from me. You don't want to see me do it either. All I can say is that it took a lot to saw him, glue him, and a lot of head scratching. So the best thing I can do is say, let's move on to the next step. So it's been a while since I've done an update on this because I've just been doing the drawers, which has been a complete nightmare because it's not something I'm really good at. The drawers are done now. I'm gluing up the faces of the drawers, and then I've painted them black. So they're being painted at the moment. I'm just about to put these feet on, which I made earlier, and I've drilled a hole in the bottom of it. I'm going to glue them and then stick a big screw through the middle of it and attach those. So we're going to do that now. It's looking good so far. Just got to finish the top, finish the drawers, and then that's done. So after what feels like another eternity of sanding, I've now sanded this down to 240 grit. I've got some of this deep mahogany wood dye that I did the drawers in. So I'm going to do the top of this now. So the drawers are now painted black. We're now going to attach them back into the drawers and then work on the drawer fronts. So for the top, I've put on a coat of sanding sealer. I'm now just going to take it down a little bit with some 240. And then I'm just going to put some wax on top. Just putting the drawer fronts on now. I put one on just as a bit of a test. I'll show you me doing this one. So what I'm going to do is just fire a couple of nails in just to hold it into place. And then I'll just shove a couple of screws into the back. So I've just spent a few minutes marking out where I want the handles, which I've just chosen here. So they're going to go about there. I'm going to pilot drill it and screw them on. So now it's all made, I just need to get it all together. The desk is all done, it's all up and going. It's nice, solid, plenty of room in it. So if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Hi, done.